Here is what's coming up in today's Frontline compilation. A yellow-blue FPV bomb dives on a bunker entrance and detonates at the mouth of an underground holdout. What forces the occupants into the open comes seconds later. A lone Russian, arm injured, keeps walking as a Ukrainian FPV closes. He raises a tourniquet and faces it head-on. Why he refuses cover is the question. Two Russians examine a strange object in their trench, likely a drone-dropped charger. One, driven by curiosity, prods it with a tool. The question is whether that choice leads to his end or not. Wounded by a drone-dropped grenade, a Russian signals surrender toward the hovering camera. He is guided to Ukrainian lines, where his fate remains unclear. This is real footage. No effects, just raw moments from the battlefield. Subscribe to stay updated on every Frontline report and stick around to see it all unfold. Let's get into it. A Ukrainian soldier films himself while holding his radio, seemingly focused on communication near the front. Moments later, an explosion erupts nearby, and shrapnel cuts through the air. When the camera steadies, blood is visible on the walkie-talkie he's gripping. A clear hint that fragments hit his head. He quickly gets up and moves from the blast zone, trying to reach safety while still holding onto the radio to call for help. His movement seems steady and deliberate, not frantic, showing he's still conscious and aware despite the impact. Head wounds bleed heavily, but the fact that he's able to walk away says a lot about how tough he is, or just how lucky. GoPro footage from a Ukrainian 82nd Brigade soldier shows a close-range ambush on Russian vehicles in Kursk. The Ukrainians catch the convoy by surprise, quickly moving onto the vehicles and taking control. The first Russian soldier they encounter is already wounded.
Що там, родной? Ранен? Який підрозділ? Підрозділ? Скільки вас людей було?
He explains that 3 others from his vehicle escaped into the nearby trees during the chaos. The POW offers to unlock his radio if the Ukrainian promises to provide medical assistance. The footage captures the tense moments of the ambush and the immediate handling of prisoners. A Russian soldier is seen walking through a quiet stretch of forest, carrying a large jug of fuel and a few other supplies toward his dugout. He moves carefully, unaware that high above him, a Ukrainian FPV drone is already tracking his every step. The drone's camera locks on as the pilot steadies the view, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Then, the drone slams directly into him. The fuel ignites on impact, erupting into a massive fireball that engulfs the frame in blinding black smoke. When the smoke clears, the soldier lies motionless, his gear scattered and burning. The clip ends with flames still rising from the path. Drone footage captures Russian troops rushing to help a wounded comrade moments after a strike. The man is still conscious, trying to move as they reach him, but his labored breathing hints at something worse than surface wounds. One soldier works on his arm, cleaning visible shrapnel cuts, while another checks his chest for bleeding. The team quickly lifts him onto a stretcher and carries him to a waiting ambulance parked nearby. The evacuation of the soldier is practiced, quiet, efficient, and without panic. Just another day of trying to keep someone alive long enough to make it off the battlefield. A Ukrainian drone drops an extremely powerful improvised munition onto a Russian soldier lying in a trench. He rolls to his side and turns his back to the device instead of throwing it away or digging deeper. The blast fills the frame with dust and smoke. The clip does not show follow-up or location. An FPV bomb painted in yellow and blue dives onto the mouth of a dugout and detonates at the entrance, sending smoke and debris into the air. The soldiers inside survive, but the blast forces them to move. 2 of them sprint from the area of impact to find a safer spot nearby. Soon, more soldiers emerge from the wrecked position, carefully navigating the rubble as they look for cover. They continue moving, shifting from one temporary shelter to another, trying to stay out of sight and avoid further strikes. Each step is cautious, as the ruined area offers little protection, and the threat of another attack is constant. A Russian soldier tries to move a failed FPV drone out of his position using a large piece of wood. As he pokes it, the device detonates, killing him instantly. The blast throws debris across the area, leaving the trench littered and chaotic. His attempt to handle the drone himself ends fatally. A Russian soldier is caught in a dugout blast after the ammunition inside detonates, and the force literally launches him into the air. Trees flash past as he's sent flying like a human cannonball, with earth, smoke, and rubble all over the area. The video ends after the body reaches peak height and falls, with no ground level aftermath shown. A Russian soldier is seen wandering through a shattered neighborhood, looking for cover. He spots an abandoned house and climbs in through a window, hoping its walls might offer some safety. What he doesn't know is that a Ukrainian FPV drone has been tracking him the whole time. The drone steadies near the window and dives in. Its strike tears the house apart, leaving only one wall still standing. Somehow the soldier survives the first hit, crawling out bruised and half-stunned. He drags himself into a small shed nearby, clinging to the hope that it won't strike twice. But it does. A second drone slams in, followed by a dropped mortar round that finishes what's left. 3 drones for 1 man. Overkill maybe, but thorough work from the operator's side. Only fragments of the house remain upright as the video cuts. Footage from Ukraine's 414th Wormbusters team splices an observer feed with an FPV camera. A Russian soldier walks across open ground, heading to his duty when he spots an FPV drone hovering above. He raises his rifle and fires, trying to bring it down, but misses and ends up falling to the ground and continues to attempt shooting it. The drone closes in and detonates just in front of his face, sending smoke and fire across the impact zone. He is killed brutally, and the area around him is left littered with debris and dust. A wounded Russian soldier limps across open ground, holding his injured arm tight and a loose tourniquet. The FPV drone hovers around him, circling like it's waiting for a reaction, but he doesn't flinch. Instead, he looks right at it, almost daring it to try, and swings the tourniquet like he's swatting a fly. The moment he does, the drone lunges in and detonates, most likely killing or badly injuring him. For a second, it's hard to tell if it's defiance, exhaustion, or just pure apathy. Either way, the man's out of options, and apparently out of give-a-dams too. 2 Russian soldiers investigate an unknown object in their trench, unaware it's a drone-dropped IED. One of them pokes it out of sheer curiosity, and the device detonates instantly, killing him on the spot. The other soldier hesitates for a moment, checking on his comrade, then decides discretion is the better part of valor and bolts. The blast leaves the trench scattered with debris, a stark reminder that curiosity doesn't always pay off, especially in a war zone. The crew of a Russian Tu-S1 self-propelled howitzer decided to get clever, covering their vehicle with trash and debris in hopes the drone operators would pass by, thinking it's a garbage pile. For a moment, the disguise might have looked convincing, if only Ukrainian drone operators didn't have a habit of checking every suspicious heap. The drone easily spotted the outline of the buried howitzer, exposing the crew's camouflage. A strike was quickly called in, and the round hit dead center, turning the fake dump into the real thing. The blast scattered shrapnel, dirt, and wreckage across the area, followed by thick smoke and flames rolling through the frame. For the rest of the video, the scene burns quietly, proof that sometimes trash really does take itself out. After being wounded by a drone-dropped grenade, a Russian signals surrender to the camera. The drone acknowledges and guides him across open ground toward Ukrainian positions, pausing and adjusting to keep him on course. Under the laws of armed conflict, a combatant who clearly indicates an intent to surrender should not be engaged. The video concludes as he reaches Ukrainian lines, where he is received. No information on subsequent status or treatment is shown. GoPro footage shows a Ukrainian truck hitting a mine from the perspective of one of its occupants. The explosion violently shakes the vehicle, throwing the occupants off balance. A passenger behind the driver grabs his camera while helping another Ukrainian apply a tourniquet. The exact injuries aren't visible, but the tourniquet is applied as recommended, high on the limb. The camera then shows the full damage to their truck and another vehicle behind it. Despite the blast, the crew works quickly to stabilize the wounded and assess the situation. A Russian soldier is seen walking to or from his post, unaware of the kamikaze drone closing in from behind. In an instant, the explosive-laden drone strikes, detonating with deadly force. The blast kills him immediately, leaving no time to react. From the look of the footage, he likely never knew what hit him. The strike takes place near Avdiivka, Donetsk. 3 Russian soldiers move cautiously along a wrecked road, one wounded and supported by the other 2 as they make their way back to a basement bunker. They enter one by one, unaware that a Ukrainian drone has been tracking their every step, waiting for the perfect moment. The drone hovers briefly, then locks on and drops its explosive payload. The blast collapses the bunker, burying all 3 under dirt, rubble, and shattered walls. Grey dust and debris cloud the area, spreading over the ruined street. The 3 soldiers are gone before they even realize what hit them. A Russian soldier is seen struggling outside his unit's multi-story building, which had all ground-level doors and windows blocked off to make it more defensible. The only entrances were on the other side, and those were taking direct fire from Ukrainian forces, leaving him stuck outside with no easy way in. He looks around, clearly unsure how to proceed, while the building looms above. 2 fellow soldiers try to help by throwing down a rope, but he can't manage to pull himself up, showing a complete lack of upper body strength. He fumbles and hesitates, looking for a solution, but his problem-solving skills aren't doing him any favors. Meanwhile, a Ukrainian drone hovers overhead, tracking his every move. Before he can figure anything out, the drone strikes, hitting him instantly. The reported area is Chasiv Yar in Donetsk. A group of Russian soldiers is seen moving along a riverbank, trying to cross while being watched from above by a Ukrainian reconnaissance drone. Just as they reach the water's edge, artillery fire rains down on their position, cutting them off completely. The impact wipes out the group, throwing debris and bodies near the bank. The footage ends with thick, black smoke rolling near the river. Drone footage shows a Chechen fighter casually kicking a stray cat near the front lines, an act that didn't sit well with the Ukrainian drone operator watching from above. Moments later, the same fighter is tracked back to his dugout, unaware that Karma is now airborne. The pilot lines up an FPV drone and sends it straight toward the man's position. The strike hits with precision, turning the abuser into the target. Turns out the drone operator wasn't much of a fan of animal cruelty and decided to handle it personally. Russian-released footage shows drones attacking an abandoned tank, claimed to be Ukrainian and destroyed by a dropped round. The vehicle is clearly unoccupied. A visible jump cut occurs just before the main explosion. Without a continuous take, the initiating cause of the fire cannot be confirmed from the video alone. The scene location is stated as near Kursk. The clip ends with the tank burning and no crew present. A Russian soldier is seen sprinting in an empty road while an Ukrainian FPV bomb drone hovers above. The FPV bomb drone closes in and he suddenly turns and catches it out of the air, a move that looks almost impressive. Instead of disabling the drone or throwing it away, he holds onto it, thinking he's secured a trophy. Unaware that the device has a remote detonation trigger, he keeps it in his hands. Moments later, the drone explodes. The blast inflicts life-threatening injuries, leaving him severely wounded on the spot. Russian troops are manning a position in their trench when a drone drops a munition directly onto them. The device lands right on one soldier's helmet, knocking him over, but fortunately it doesn't detonate. The blast never comes, leaving the soldiers shaken but unharmed. The group reacts by ducking and shifting positions while the object remains in place. A Russian dirt bike rider speeds through open terrain, unaware that a Ukrainian drone is quietly tracking him overhead. The quadcopter dives and drops a grenade that lands close enough to throw dirt into the air. The rider jumps off and scrambles away, leaving his bike behind, as the drone makes a few more passes, wrecking the machine but sparing its owner this time. Not far away, 2 UTVs come under the same kind of attention. One blast rocks the vehicles, sending debris flying and wounding a rider in the leg. He limps away awkwardly beside his comrade, trying to keep pace as the drone buzzes overhead. According to reports, a squad of Russian soldiers spots a Ukrainian FPV kamikaze drone heading straight for them. In a rush to survive, they dive into a nearby basement meant for cover, but the drone doesn't miss. It follows them underground and hits the position. The strike brutally injures the soldiers, leaving them scrambling in the confined space. That's today's raw footage. No filters, no fluff. This is M6 Archive, always first on the front lines. Subscribe and share if you want more.